Matti. I've been with Boogie, I think exactly 10 years at the moment. I've been cycling, I think, actively for, let's say, 8 years or so. I purchased my first road bike, I think, 10 years ago, and I've really ramped up my cycling in terms of like actual training in the last, I'd say, 3 years. The cycling has brought me some interesting things, like I've been able to go to training camps in the south, and also the Rinkeby project was mainly inspired. Of course, the helping the children was a big part, but also the cycling background was really important, because basically anything that involves cycling in any form is really a good thing for me. For my Hackfest project, I chose to do some GPXAddr mapping. And the background for all this is that I've been involved in this Team Rinkeby charity organization for a couple of months now. And the idea is that people gather every year and they raise money by offering sponsorship deals to companies, and they offer visibility to the companies through their cycling. The sponsorship money goes to seriously ill children, mainly with cancer, but also other diseases. And I think so far the total amount of money that the organization has been able to raise is several million euros. And the Finnish organization last year raised something like 500,000 euros. And of course, this year we are aiming to raise a bit more. The reason for this project was that when we are doing our cycling trip to Paris, the actual route that we take is not dictated by the organizers. They tell us the hotels where we stop, and then the team itself is responsible for deciding what the exact route to take between the hotels. Additional complication to this is that the German authorities require that you submit a list of street names in the order that you traverse during your trek. My project for the Hackfest involved researching all the available geocoding and mapping APIs and seeing what can be done to transform the GPX route to an address list. So I ended up going through several APIs. I first tried the OpenStreetMap. I briefly considered trying the Here Maps as well, but after some consideration I thought that okay, perhaps the Google Maps is the next one to try. The OpenStreetMap, it's pretty good, but the resulting mapping of the street list was a bit worse than for Google Maps. So I ended up going with Google Maps, even though the Google Maps has quite strict quota limits for the queries per day. I didn't really have anything prepared for the task, so I had a fantasy really that I might be able to do some kind of a user interface and a web application where we could submit the GPX tracks and so forth. But knowing how these things go, I was prepared to actually try the MVP, so minimum viable product first. So it actually ended up being just a desktop Java program, which just reads a GPX file and then makes a couple of queries to the mapping API and then spits out the resulting coordinates in a very user-unfriendly manner. So let's see. So basically, what happens is that the green dots are here, the original GPX track, and then the red dots and blue crosses are the points that have been returned by the mapping service. And as you can see, even with the Google Maps API, which delivered the best result, some of the addresses are not actually on the route. It has mainly something to do with the GPX points being exactly at the crossroads, and therefore the Maps API not being really sure what addresses to include. So basically I had to add some vector algebra to check that whether the points lie on the actual route or not. But after some simple filtering, the resulting track was pretty good, and actually it was exactly the same as I was able to complete just manually going through the map and checking the addresses myself. Personally, I was happy to be able to familiarize myself with the mapping and geolocation APIs available publicly. It's a really good thing to know those in case they ever come up with other projects in my work or spare time. I'd really still like to make some kind of a user interface, preferably on Web API on top of this, but it really depends on whether I get some time to spend on this, and maybe during the next Hackfest if I happen to do the same Runkeby tour next year as well.